Eureka, Grade 2, Module 4, Lesson 1. Relate one more, one less, 10 more, and 10 less to addition and subtraction of 1 and 10. Before we begin today, you're going to need some supplies. Please press pause. Go and find your whiteboard and your marker. When you have those items, come back and press play. Welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving break. I've been missing you, but I'm just jumping for joy that you're back and we're ready for another math lesson. Here we go. Look right here. I have displayed 36 for you on our place value chart using tens and ones place value discs. 3 tens and 6 ones makes up the number 36. Now, I have a special red rectangle that's going to be with us today. Right here, it indicates that we need to add another one place value disc. So, watch that red rectangle. Here it comes. Ta-da! Another one place value disc. Can you tell what number is now represented on our place value chart? 37. Let's use a sentence frame to describe adding 1 to our place value chart. We could say 37 is 1 more than 36. We could also say 1 more than 36 is 37. Both of those statements are true. What is it that we did? That's right, we added 1. Let's write this in a number sentence. 36 plus 1 equals 37. That's what we just did. We started with 36, added 1 plus 1, and we now have the total of 37. We could also write it this way. 37 equals 36 plus 1. We can even switch the add-ins. 37 equals 1 plus 36. No matter which of these ways we choose to write it, it equals 37. 36 plus 1 equals 37. This equal sign shows us that both sides are equivalent, the same, or equal. So if we move 37, the sum or total, to the beginning of our number sentence, it's okay, because 36 plus 1 is still equal, the same, or equivalent to 37. We're just writing the sum or total first. Let's go back to 36. Now our red rectangle is all boxed up around one of our one place value discs. This means it's time for that one to disappear. Watch closely. Gone. Now what do we have on our place value chart? 35. Let's use a sentence frame to describe taking away 1 from 36. We could say 35 is 1 less than 36. We could also say 1 less than 36 is 35. Both of these statements are true. Let's write it in a number sentence. 36 subtract 1 equals 35. That's what we just did. By taking away one place value disc, we've subtracted 1 from 36, and now we have 35. We could also write the equation this way. 35 equals 36 subtract 1. Back to 36. Now my red rectangle is moving over to the tens place value spot on our chart. We're going to add a group of 10. Where should we put it? That's right, in the tens place value spot. Here we go. Ta-da! Another group of 10. Now what is represented on our place value chart? 46. Using a sentence frame, we could say 46 is 10 more than 36. That's true. We could also say 10 more than 36 is 46. What we have done here is added one group of 10. When we write our equation or number sentence, we're no longer just adding 1, we're adding 10 because we added a group of 10. 36 plus 10 equals 46. The digit or number that is changing is now the one in the tens place value spot. 4 instead of 3. It increased by one group of 10 because we added, that's right, a group of 10. We could also write it this way. 46 equals 36 plus 10, or 46 equals 10 plus 36. Back to 36. This time we're going to take away one of our 10 place value discs. You can see our red rectangle. Watch closely. Gone. Now what number is represented on our place value chart? 26. Let's use sentence frames to describe what we have now. 26 is 10 less than 36. That's true. When we took away that group of 10, it left us with 2 10s and 6 1s, which is 26. We could also say 10 less than 36 is 26. Because we took away a 10, we're now subtracting. Let's write a number sentence or equation that shows what we just did. We started with 36 and we subtracted 10. Now we have 26. 36 subtract 10 equals 26. We could also write it this way. 26 equals 36 subtract 10. Here's a number pattern. Let's look closely at this pattern. 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Can you identify which rule we're using to make this pattern complete? Each time we say a new number, are we adding one more, taking away to make it one less, adding 10 more, or taking it away so we have 10 less? Look closely at our pattern. How are our numbers changing? Which place value is changing? You may have recognized that this pattern rule is one more. Each time we count or say the next number, we're adding 1. We started with 45, added 1, and now we have 46. 46 plus 1 is 47. 47 plus 1 is 48. 48 plus 1 is 49, and 49 plus 1 is 50. The pattern rule here is one more. Let's look at another pattern. 23, 33, 43, 53, 63, 73. Which pattern rule are we using? Look closely at which number is changing. The number or digit in our ones place value spot remains the same with 3 1s. However, the digit or number in our tens place value spot is increasing each time by 1. That means we're adding 10 more each time, because in order for that number or digit in the tens place value to change, we have to add another group of 10. 23 plus 10, 33. 33 plus 10, 43. 43 plus 10, 53. 53 plus 10, 63. And 63 plus 10, 73. Here's another pattern. Look closely. Can you tell me which pattern rule we're using? Hopefully you recognize that this is 10 less. 96, 86, 76, 66, 56, 46. Each time we say the next number, it's 10 less than the number previous or prior or before. We're taking away one group of 10 each time. The digit in the ones place value spot remains the same, but the number or digit in the tens place value spot decreases by 1, which means we have 10 less each time we say the next number. Look at this pattern. Can you tell which pattern rule we're using? 71, 70, 69, 68, 67, 66. Look closely. What place value spot is changing? One less is the rule here. Each time we say the next number, we're taking away 1. 71 subtract 1 is 70. 70 subtract 1 is 69. 69 subtract 1 is 68. And so on, all the way to 66. Now, it's your turn. Make sure you have your whiteboard and marker. If you need to pause the video, do so now. Then press play when you're ready. Here are the 4 different rules we've been talking about. We have 1 less, which is subtracting 1. We have 1 more, which is adding 1. We have 10 less, which is subtracting 10. And we have 10 more, which is adding 10. I want you to look closely at this pattern. On your whiteboard, you're going to identify which rule we're using. Subtract 1, add 1, subtract 10, or add 10. And then you're going to fill in the 3 missing numbers in our pattern. On your whiteboard, identify the pattern rule. Are we subtracting 1, adding 1, subtracting 10, or adding 10? And fill in the 3 missing numbers. Press pause now to do that. When you're ready, press play. Let's check your work. Let's first look closely at our pattern. 18 to 17, 17 to 16. Were you able to recognize that we're subtracting 1 each time? Did you write subtract 1 on your whiteboard? Good work. Our 10's place value digit remains the same. There's one group of 10. But our 1's place value digit is decreasing by 1 each time. 18 subtract 1 is 17. 17 subtract 1 is 16. We need to continue this pattern. So 16 subtract 1 is 15. 15 subtract 1 is 14. And keeping with our pattern, 14 subtract 1 is 13. How did you do? Were you able to complete this pattern? Good work. Wipe your whiteboard clean and let's look at another one. Here's our next pattern. 6, 16, 26. You're going to decide which pattern rule we're using. Subtract 1, add 1, subtract 10, or add 10. And then fill in the 3 missing numbers in our pattern. Press pause. When you're ready to check your work, press play. Let's see how you did. First, let's take a look at our pattern. We start at 6 and go to 16, from 16 to 26. The digit in the 1's place value spot remains the same, 6 ones. However, we're adding 10 each time. Another group of 10 here, and we add another group of 10 to get 26. We need to continue this pattern. 26 plus 10 is 36. 36 plus 10 is 46. And 46 plus 10 is 56. The pattern here is adding 10 each time. Here's your next pattern. 77, 67, 57. I want you to identify which pattern rule we're using. Write it on your whiteboard and fill in the next 3 numbers in our pattern. When you're ready to check your answers, press play. Let's see how you did. Let's look closely at the pattern. We started with 77, and our next number is 67. From 67, we went to 57. You may have noticed that the 1's place value digit remains the same. There are 7 ones each time. But the digit or number in the 10's place value spot is decreasing by 1, which means each time we're subtracting 10. 77 subtract 10 is 67. Subtract 10 is 57. We have to keep the same pattern. Let's subtract 10 from 57. We now have 47. Subtract 10. 37. Subtract 10. 27. The number in the tens place value spot decreased by one group of 10 each time. How did you do? Were you able to identify the pattern rule and the missing 3 numbers? Good work. Wipe your whiteboard clean. Let's take a look at one more pattern. 4, 5, 6. I want you to at first identify the pattern rule and fill in the 3 missing numbers. Press pause now when you're ready to check your answer. Press play. Let's take a look at the pattern. 4 to 5, 5 to 6. You probably identified that we're adding 1 each time. If we continue this pattern, we'll add 1 to 6, and it will give us the number 7. 7 plus 1 is 8, and 8 plus 1 is 9. How did you do? Hopefully you were able to complete that pattern. Now, this right here is going to be exciting. I hope you're ready for a challenge. We call this a simplifying strategy. The arrow notation or arrow way. We're going to start with the number 33. Each of the arrows have a pattern that they want you to do. So if we start with 33, we're then going to add 10. We can't do any of these other requirements until we figure out the numbers in order. That's why we follow the arrows. It's called the arrow way. Start with 33 and add 10 first. The sum of 33 plus 10 will be written on the second line here. Then you'll be able to subtract 1 from that number, which will give you the next number. When you have that number, you can subtract 1, which will give you the next number. From that number, subtract 10, which will give you the next number, from which you will subtract 10 one more time. You can see this goes in order, beginning with 33, following the directions on the first arrow, finding that number, following the directions on the next arrow, and so on. I want you to try it on your own first by pressing pause and seeing if you can fill in this pattern. When you're ready to check your answers, let's press play. Okay, let's see how you did. We started with the number 33 and we're adding 10. When we add one group of 10, we get the number 43. Remember, our ones place values digit is going to remain the same. We didn't add any additional ones. All we did was add one group of 10. So we went from 3 groups of 10 to 4 groups of 10, and we now have 43. You had to solve that and find that number first before you could do the next arrow. Now we have 43, subtract 1. That's 42. Now we're just subtracting 1, so our tens place value digit is going to remain the same for now. And our ones place value digit is going to decrease by 1, from 3 to 2. 43 subtract 1 equals 42. Now that we have 42, we can follow the directions on the next arrow. 42 subtract 1. Again, we're just taking away 1, 1. So if we have 2 ones and we take away 1, we're left with 1, 1. But our groups of 10 remain the same. 42 subtract 1 equals 41. Now, the next arrow wants us to subtract 10. We have 41. Our ones are going to remain the same, but we're going to take away one group of 10. That gives us 3 groups of 10, 31. 41 subtract 10 equals 31. We took away one of our groups of 10. Last, we need to subtract another group of 10. This time we're subtracting from 31. We have 3 groups of 10. We're going to subtract one group of 10, and we're left with 2 groups of 10, or the total 21. 31 subtract 10 is 21. Were you able to do this? Could you follow all the arrow notations? Did you do the arrow way? Beginning with 33, following all of the directions on the arrows, we ended up with 21. I'm impressed. Good work today. You did great. Now it's your turn to jump on back over to Seesaw and you'll get to have some more practice. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.